I honestly don't think that I've seen a movie franchise out there that has been the perfect, unique combination of really smart, hard-hitting social commentary and just really stupid characters and story development. Yeah, hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And this is something brand new we're doing on the channel. People have been saying for a while now they want me to start doing post-Geekout reactions for older films. And this week, the fourth Purge movie is coming out, and I have never seen any of the Purge films. So I thought, you know what? Let's actually do it. We're starting a brand new show, the Post-Geekout Retrospective, in which we are looking back at older films that have to do with brand new movies coming out that we've never talked about here on the channel before. And for the first one, we're doing all three of the previous Purge films. Now, we're not going to go by one on these. Peach is chewing on a squeak toy down there. Hey, girl. She wants to play. She wants to play. Oh, look out, Peach. You're going to purge the toy store and just run in there and grab all the squeaky toys. Yay!
Yeah,
this is what you all want. This is the main reason you all want more post-Geekout reactions. You just want to see Peach.
That's the thing. You brought up a really good point. It's like a lot of these Purge movies like focus on like murder, but it's like
okay. All right. Like I said, we're not going like step by step of like the plot of each of these. We're not going to do that. We're just gonna kind of like analyze all three of the previous films that came out. Oh my god! That drove me nuts.
yeah, it's like honestly, like wouldn't there be more people like stealing or
also,
like doing drugs or like?
Also, how does stealing work? That's something that really does like drive me nuts in this. Is that like okay, murder? That one's obvious. Okay, you kill someone, you get away with it that night. But if I go and steal like my neighbor's car, and then the next day when the purge is over, they come outside and see their car in my like driveway. Do they go, hi diddly do neighbor, I can't help but notice that you got my car in your driveway. Nah man, it's mine, purge rules. It's like, no, but the purge is over, and they still have like the license and registration for this thing. Like they're still paying insurance on this thing, like, how does that work? Or like you go into the bank, all the money in the bank is like specifically identified to be at that specific bank. If I steal that money, how do they know if I stole it during if I get caught with that money, how will they know if I stole it during the purge or if I stole it like at another time when it was not the purge? And do I get away with it then? Yeah, that drove me insane.
But it's like, that's funny. It's like in the first movie, it's like they tried to like murder them, but it's like they didn't, the family, but it's like they didn't do it. So it's like, is everything gonna go back to normal when the purge is over? The neighbors are just gonna be like...
That's the other question that is the question I have heard lots of people have with this. Because the idea behind the Purge films is that, okay, crime is almost non-existent in this world, which that raises questions.
Yeah.
It says crime is almost non-existent in this world because for one night, for 12 hours, every single year, all crimes are legal. And the question I've heard many people come up with is, well, what if you just come in here, do all this horrible shit to someone else, but don't murder them the next day, and they're like your neighbor, you wake up, you see them across the street, it's like, are you not going to do something to them?
Yeah,
but
it's like...
the defense that I kind of have at that, and what I think this movie is trying to make you think, is that it's like, no, you would do something to them, but you wouldn't be like, all right, I'm going to go over there and just beat the crap out of them right now. In your mind, you'd be like, all right, 364 more days until I get my revenge. I'm going to wait an entire year till I can do it and get away with it. Like, that's what I think it is. I think it's like, you do something to someone on Purge night and you don't kill them, you've got 364 more days after that until they get their revenge on you, and they're just going to sit on that entire time. But it raises so many other questions because, okay, crime is almost non-existent, so no one just goes hungry in this world? Like, I don't think you realize how many crimes get committed, not out of passion, not out of anger, not out of revenge, but just because it's like, dude, I need money or I'm going to starve.
Yeah, and like that's another, they mentioned like the economy is like skyrocketing too.
And one interesting thing we know is that in the first film it said unemployment was under 1%.
Yes.
In the second film it said unemployment is under 5%. I was like, okay.
Maybe the purge doesn't work, but it's like one thing like I brought up is like, and the movie keeps bringing up is like, the movies keep bringing up is like all the like poor people are the ones that are like the victims of the purge. But here's the thing. Like, the poor people are the ones who are, like...
Do you not know how the fucking economy works?
Yeah, seriously, like, they are, like, the base of, like, the economy. They're the ones doing all the hard work that no one else wants to do. So
Unless you come in here and also say, oh, by the way, we also increased minimum wage to $20 an hour. So now anybody working retail, anybody working at, a burger joint, anybody clean out toilets for a living, you're all making actual good, livable wages now.
They didn't mention that.
They didn't say any of that stuff. So it's like, okay, so you're just... Because it'd be one thing if it was just killing homeless people. Which in the first movie, they're trying to kill a homeless guy. Mm-hmm. But in the second film, you see them trying to kill, like, regular, like, working class people. Like somebody who works in a diner. And it's like... Okay, yeah, and you see it's the rich people who's trying to do that, and it's like, oh yeah, we have to clean out all the poor people in order to, like, make the economy better. It's like, they're working a job!
Yes!
They had a job, and it's a necessary job, too!
It's not like you guys are gonna be doing it, like...
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's like I said, this is a unique combination between really hard-hitting social commentary, because like, okay, no, I get what you're going for here, film, but man, it makes zero goddamn sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be like one thing if they just pulled a Giuliani and they were just killing all the homeless people. I'm kidding, Giuliani didn't do that. He moved them all to Jersey. But it'd be one thing if they were just doing that, but no, they're killing off just anybody with a low-paying job. It's like, so the next day when you go to celebrate and you just go to your favorite restaurant and all of a sudden none of the wait staff is there.
Yeah, it's like...
And it's like, oh, well, can the chef just make me this? The chef died last night. Oh, that's right, I murdered him because he wasn't making enough money. Like, Jesus Christ. Also, the way that everybody acts about the Purge in these films is like, this must be set in an alternate reality where no one learned how to masturbate. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of, because every single person's like, I have to purge. I need to release the beast. It's like, dude, go in the fucking bathroom, get some Kleenexes, just think about whatever you need to think about. Just let it out, man, and then you'll be like, you know what, this is really stupid.
The purge is actually like the one night in the whole year where you can actually masturbate.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes.
That's what release the beast actually means. It's just that one joke from South Park where they walk in on Randy and just,
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like, no, it's not.
This video isn't getting monetized. Oh my god, what my neighbors must think of me. I apologize to anybody who didn't know we'd be going blue on this one, but yeah, man, it was like, they keep acting like it's a sexual thing, like, no, I need to get it out. It's like, dude, oh my god.
Also, if you get, like, sexually aroused from murdering, I think you might need to get some help.
It's like, if you get sexually aroused from murdering, no way are you only able to do it once a year.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
It's like, dude, it's not like if you came in here and like, okay, no, that's a bad example too. I was about to say, it's like, it'd be one thing if it was like, well, I only smoke pot like once a year. It's like, no, if you enjoy pot, you're not gonna smoke that once a year. It's like, no, that doesn't work. Yeah, it makes zero fucking sense in here. But the weird thing about these movies is how it just fell ass backwards into being like social commentary. Because the first film, it was like, okay, there's a tiny bit, because you see it's rich people, like they just need to kill a homeless guy. It's like, okay, there's one thing there, but it's so small, and it's not even really part of this, and it feels like an afterthought in this whole thing. Second film, they really start to get into it, especially in like the third act. And also with, I know people hate when we get political on the show, but I mean, you kind of have to in the Purge films, especially with what happened in the third one. But yeah, when you see like how like fucked up people have gotten, like how fucked up they always gotten were, but they've kind of like no longer are hiding it over the past couple of years. It makes you go, fuck, man, maybe some people out there would be like, oh god, I get to murder one night a year? Oh, I'm totally down for that. Like, there was some guy at like one of the immigration rallies who pulled a gun on someone in Washington, D.C. and said, like, womp womp, and, like, pulled a gun on, like, some of the immigration protesters. And I was like, that's a dude who would purge. That is a dude who would be watching this shit and be like...
Here's the thing. The people who would support the Purge would not wait for the Purge to happen.
I don't know. I think that's my point, is that I think that when we see these nut jobs in here, we're like, Jesus, yeah, no way would they be able to last that long. But I think that when you look at, like, a lot of, like, the, like, just psychopaths out there these days... A lot of them are like, I'm a blue-collar guy. Just, hey, I've got a button-up shirt. I go into work every single day. I'm the manager at my store. It's fine. But then, like, with, like, that attorney dude in New York who was, like, just going ballistic on someone who like looked like they were from Mexican descent, and like they were just going off on them and talking about wanting to get them deported, and then all of a sudden it got revealed that dude like apparently goes up to people on the street who just don't look as white as he does and just takes photos of them and collects them, and it's just kind of like, I'm sorry, they're coming for me right now. I got too political. The YouTube police are coming for me. But yeah, like you remember that story about that guy? Yeah, and like they were holding like mariachi bands outside of his apartment to like drive him nuts. Which kudos to those guys on that. But yeah, apparently there were stories about how he's just been collecting photos of people he sees on the street who look like they might be of Latin descent. And I was like, okay, that dude has never committed a violent crime, but you know, if that dude was given the opportunity to one night a year, you could go out there and kill whoever you want, that dude would totally do it. And that dude was like an attorney. And it was like, Jesus!
And like that's another thing, it's like, once again, it's like it's the white and powerful people who are like getting away with all this.
Yeah, this movie is not subtle about that at all. And you know what? Kudos to them. Like, you don't need to be subtle on this one. Although, as I said, again, like you look at this film, and like in 2014 when Purge Anarchy came out, that's when they really started to get into all this stuff. Mm-hmm. It was like shortly after that we started to see this mentality like rising up in America and starting to like not hide itself anymore. And yeah, it was like, holy shit, this is just kind of like this dumb concept, but the world is kind of falling into place for this. Like, out of all the messed up future movies that we've seen, who thought The Purge was the one that we were actually heading towards? Man, I would have taken Blade Runner any day over this crap. I would have taken Blade Runner, I would have taken Mad Max over this right now. Because at least then you get to drive around cool cars. I get a guitar with a flamethrower on the end of it then. This is messed up, man. But you want to know how much they just accidentally fell ass backwards into being political commentary? At the beginning of the second film, you've got this big politician guy, one of the new founding fathers in there, and he's talking about the importance of the Purge and how the Purge changed everything and how it's made the world a better place. And his name is Donald, and then a last name that begins with T. And when I saw that, because we watched all these back to back, like right now, when I saw that, I thought, oh, come on, like, movie, I'm applying you for being blunt when you need to be, but come on, man, you need to be more so on this. And then it hit me, this movie came out in 2014, was written in 2013, meaning no one at the time was thinking about Trump in 2013. Nobody thought that guy was an actual contender. Nobody thought he would actually become president. And then it's like, dude, in 2013, he just randomly chose the name Donald and last name began with T. Like, no reason at all for that. And it just so happens he fell ass backwards into it. It's like, Jesus Christ, this movie got so lucky. Because these are really stupid films. But the thing it has going for it is that it's kind of like the strongest commentary, like the boldest commentary that we have these days.
It's like the movies are dumb, but our country's doing dumb stuff right now, so...
Our country's lining up for this stuff. It'd be like if all of a sudden, like, one of the really bad Jason films, like Jason Goes to Hell, or something like, you know, where Jason's a parasite that takes over people and turns them into Jason, and then somebody who was the family member of Jason got infested with the parasite and then transformed into Jason. You look at that is dumb as shit. But imagine if like 2 years after that film came out, suddenly like some serial killer was at the morgue and they found a giant parasite on it, and there were all these news stories about it. I was like, oh, it's kind of like that movie. And then a family member got bit by it, and then like a week later they were going around doing the exact same stuff as them. It was like, oh, wow. Lining up way too well on this one. It'd be like if after Nightmare on Elm Street came out, all of a sudden a bunch of like teenagers started dying in their sleep on Oak Street or something, and then all of a sudden the news story came out. It's like, yeah, their parents kind of killed another another murderer out there. I was like, oh my god, it's just lying. I was like, that's what the Purge films are kind of doing. And again, I know people hate when we get political on this, but it's like, dude, the third film of this, they didn't give a fuck anymore. They were just like, nope, we are going to call out specifically the people in this one. It's like, god damn. Mm-hmm. How weird is it that the Purge films are some of the boldest movies out there right now?
It's like the first one was dumb.
Oh, they're all stupid.
I know, but it's like, I felt like the first one was like the dumbest of them all.
Oh, very much so. The dumbest one of them all, and it doesn't even do anything with the concept.
No, exactly. That's why I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
It's just typical rich white
It is
people
nothing but
who
a-
don't really get affected by the purge. Just
Well, what it is it's just a home invasion film. And they need to come up with an excuse for why you couldn't call the cops for a home invasion. That's all it was. And it's like, okay, well, power outage is just too dumb and people have cell phones. Come up with an explanation for why the cops or firefighters or nobody else can come and help you. Why even your neighbors can't come and help you. And that's all it was. That's all that there was behind this thing. And then there was like one tiny little seed just boop, just thrown in there of like, oh, hey, maybe a little bit of social commentary, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, they just went balls to the wall with it after that. Like, the first one is like, all right, yeah, it's just really stupid and you're doing nothing with this concept. But the second film was like, all right, let's test the waters a little bit on this thing. Oh, people thought that one was better? I'm going off in the third one.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
then that was the best sequel in the
honestly, like the second one felt more like a prequel to like the third one, like a build up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell, Frank Grillo even pops up in this third one as like the security guy, and he's like, no, after the thing that happened to me a couple of years ago at the Purge, I know what I need to do now. We need to stop the Purge, and I'm going to work with you. And yeah, I really dug this idea that, it's so weird to me that, like, these new founding fathers would take that much control of the government, but they would still allow free elections. Like, that was getting weird to me. It's like, if you could pass this thing where it's like all crime is legal for one night just as an excuse for us to go and kill poor people, it feels weird that they would then not be able to convince the American public, oh, and also elections, that's not thing that you need to know. Don't worry about that at all. Yeah, it just kind of feels odd to me that like that would still exist.
It's like freedom to purge, freedom to vote, or some shit like that. Probably
I don't even think there's no slogan you come with that. Hey, Peach, walking behind us. Bop, 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 bop. Yeah, man, this is such a weird franchise to talk about. But I will say, I think, again, one of the reasons why I really hated the first one is that they do nothing with this concept. I don't even remember seeing it in the movie, but I remember when the trailer for the first one was coming out, there was like one shot of like empty streets everywhere, but then on the side of a highway, there was one car pulled over and parked there. And I remember looking at that going, that's what this movie needs to be. Fuck this person just locked in their house and it's a home invasion film. I don't care about that. This is a concept where crime is legal for one night of the year and you're just gonna focus on this one family trapped in a house. You're wasting a massive potential on this thing.
Yeah, that's another reason
and
why.
then the second film does the exact thing.
No, it's like, that's why the third one is like so interesting because it's focusing on like several different people who have to like deal with the same night. Like,
the second one did as well, but they joined together quicker, and I think the third one like focuses, they're more individual people.
Right.
Like the second one was two different groups of people just happened to get trapped outside. Whereas the third guy is going out for revenge. Like, he is an actual purger that night. But he kind of, like, comes to this and is like, no, yeah, that's kind of, like, it's all bad. I realize my mistake now. Which I actually dug that. I dug that at the end of it. It's the guy who killed his son who saves him. Because he didn't kill his son because he purged. He killed his son because he was a drunk driver, which is still terrible.
Yeah.
But you can see how that would be a thing that would, like, haunt this guy. Like, so I dug that at the end. Frank Grillo ends up forgiving this guy. You don't even see it because they leave it up to the audience. So it is actually a really good reveal when that dude comes out there and he actually ends up shooting the guy who was going to shoot him. So yeah, I really dug that part. But yeah, like I said, when I saw that trailer for the first one, I saw that car just trapped out there. I went, that's the movie. That's what this film should be. And then the second film is literally someone who gets stuck outside. But yeah, speaking of the second film, that's when I actually started getting like the commentary on this because like they kidnap all the people who had been gathered together and take them to some big rich people party. And it's like, we're going to set you free in like this laser tag arena, and we're just going to go in there and shoot you.
Yeah, basically hunt down like all these poor people.
Which
for fun.
again,
It's like
again, you want to talk about how like these movies have like caught up to society? Just this week alone, there have been all these news stories breaking about poachers, which that's been breaking for the past couple of years in general, but it wasn't a big, huge thing back in 2014 when that film came out. These days, like, that's actually a big thing. And this week alone, I've seen tons of news stories about rich people going over to Africa to kill rare animals. And I'm like, shit, man, yeah, rich people would do this. Rich people would be like, oh, it's all for sport. Just go and grab some homeless people and let them run around in a laser tag arena and then shoot them. It's like, Jesus Christ, this actually, like, It's weird how society is making me like take back complaints I would have had about this film if I had watched it when it came out. So yeah, you've got that going on in that film. But oh god, there's something I wanted to talk about with that I specifically forgot right there. But yeah, so that's something that goes on in that one. Whereas in the next film, they just, like I said, there's commentary in that. It's like, oh, it's all the rich people. They're just gathering people up off the street. And yeah, again, they're gathering people with jobs. Like we saw them in the beginning of that film, not even going and grabbing up homeless people. They were breaking into someone's house and dragging one of our protagonists out of there. And, I don't remember what I was going to say now. But they were dragging one of our protagonists out of there, and it's like, we saw she works in a diner. She has a job. It's a necessary job. This is so stupid. But, again, it brings me back to this point that we started this thing off with. Why is it that murder is the only thing that people do on this?
Yeah.
Because we see all these people were wrangling up anybody on the street and selling them off to the rich people, and they're like, yeah, we don't need to purge, we're just doing this for money. And all I could think was, then rob a fucking bank. It's legal tonight, apparently. I mean, again, they don't go into the explanation of it, but if you just, like, the father of the lady who worked at the diner, he sacrificed himself to go and, like, be purged by these rich people so that $100,000 would be put into their account, which, by the way, if you want to take care of your family forever, this is the future. I don't know what happened to the economy, but $100,000 would only last you, like, maybe, I don't know, 4 years on that. I mean, I guess if she was still working at the diner. If she was still working at the diner, it would last. Okay, that would make sense. Okay, fine. But yeah, he goes and gets purged, and it's like, yeah, so that way you guys could get $100,000. And again, it's like, rob a fucking bank. Like, I know, I mean, dude, in this world, we see people selling, like, huge weapons just on the street in prep for purge night. Go and get something that could blow the doors off of a bank. It's so simple. Yeah, you don't have to die for this. Just go out there and do what you want to do.
Yeah, but like according to the rules, like only like class 4 weapons and lower are okay.
Okay. Yeah, so, that is one of the things.
So yeah.
Which that was one of the things in like the that was one of the things in the second film when we had that question in the first film.
No, they mentioned in the first film too, but like
no, not the thing about the weapons. But this part I don't remember hearing in the first film, in which I was looking at it as like, okay, I know there's a lot of people who had problems with this. What's keeping the founding fathers safe? And then they go, the only people immune are politicians with class 10 approval or higher.
Well, they mentioned that in the first one
did?
too,
Okay,
but
I
guess
part.
you weren't paying attention.
I missed that part. Okay. But yeah, so
and then like in the final one, it's like, no one is safe.
But that was the thing, when that got mentioned, all I could think is, how are people okay with that?
Yeah.
How are people literally okay with all these politicians coming in here and just saying, we're going to create a holiday where all of you can die, but we're in the safe zone. Mm-hmm. We're totally fine. You can't touch us. It's like, how would anyone be okay with that? I don't know. People can get sold on stupid shit. Yeah, this is a franchise that just, man, it made me angry at how dumb it was, but it also made me angry at how accurate it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not, okay. Okay, man, there are people who are gonna be mad at this review, but again, it's like, if you can get mad at the stuff I'm saying in this review, but you didn't get mad at least the third Purge film itself, dude, come on. How did that go that far over your head? Yeah. I mean, literally at the end of that thing, it shows, like, the Electoral College map, and I was just like, yeah, they're flat out, like, there's a moment in which that big Chief Hunter guy of the third film, he's got Confederate flag patches on his vest right next to a Nazi swastika, and I was like, dude, they're not even hiding this.
Nope.
Like, again, if you're mad at the stuff that I'm saying in this film, in this review, all I'm doing is pointing out what they said in the film, man. If you were totally okay with that film, but you're mad at someone pointing it out, I don't know what to tell you, man. But yeah, so it's just so odd, because it's like, I want to applaud this movie, but they're so bad. They're such bad films. But it's, I will say, okay, the first one is bad. The first one's totally bad. All the characters in there are awful, too.
Yeah.
All the characters are awful or non-existent. I hated that family. I really did. I mean, the kid whose quirky thing is he just builds like messed up like
he reminded me of Sid from Toy Story, and I honestly thought like he would be like supporting the Purge, considering like how messed up he is with the toys. Like
psychopathic
building psychopathic toys, and he has like this little hideout in his room where he's like surrounded by like colorings of like stuff going on in the Purge. I'm like, this kid has some serious issues. I would not be surprised if he's like.
Wouldn't that have been a more interesting story than what we got in that one?
Yeah.
And then, like, the girlfriend has a boyfriend who's too old for her, which they never actually say their ages, I don't think. So
no,
it's like, because I looked at them and I was like, you look like the exact same age to me. But yeah, and then the boyfriend breaks into her house on Purge night. He's like, no, I came here so that I could talk to your dad, because since it's Purge night, he can't leave and he'll be forced to hear what I have to say. And like, I'm sorry, did anybody not think that he was going to try and kill the dad at that second? Yeah, I mean, the second he pulled out the gun, we both just went, call it.
Yep.
Yeah, man, like, there is no tension in that. He has no personality. He's just a douche.
He ends up dead anyhow. So
everybody in that movie is awful, except for, like, I guess maybe the homeless guy, because you at least feel bad for him.
Yeah.
But again, he has no personality other than help me. So I was like, all right. But the other people in there, God, again, it's just... It feels like they just came up with that concept because they're like, well, I don't know, I'm going to do a home invasion film, but, well, the problem with home invasion films is that you could always call the cops, and with cell phones, even if they cut the power, you could always call the cops then. And, I mean, wouldn't you have neighbors who could come and help? It's like, yeah, they just had to come up with an excuse for why no one could help you in a home invasion. And the villain in there, again, I point this out, this entire film franchise is set in a world where nobody's allowed to masturbate. Like, the main villain in the first Purge film, I need to cleanse myself. It's like, well, the bathroom's right there, man. Just go, grab some tissues, just put on some Kenny G if that's what you need. Just do what you gotta do, man.
Although, I think it's quite appropriate that America would allow violence and murder, but, like, say no to masturbating.
Again, this thing falls... Again, there is amazing commentary to be made in these films, and I don't think half of it was on purpose. Yeah, that's a really good point. But also, like, in the third film, when they're at, like, the blood baptism, where it's like, no, Jesus died for our sins, so now these random people we picked off the street are going to die for our sins, too. And it's like, yeah, we have to purge all the sins out of us by murdering them. It's like, that ain't how... That's how none of this works.
But once again, no...
But, like, the dude who was, like, the main purger guy, like, the guy who like, was the one who's going to go through the blood baptism, like, that dude had never seen the sun, was pale as a vampire, had huge giant black circles under his eyes. He looked like the vampire villains in Omega Man, the old Charlton Heston film, where they're all just in sunglasses and just pale all the time. It's like, yeah, he looked like one of those dudes.
Maybe that's why he wanted to do the blood baptism. He needed to drink his blood. Like,
but no, I mean, that dude, again, he was acting as like, you've never actually been on a date, have you? It's like, you've never actually talked to someone before in your life, have you? You just sit behind your computer all day just calling people bitches because they wouldn't go out on dates with you. Like, that's the kind of guy that guy looked like.
It's like, this girl friend zoned me, so I'm gonna kill her on Purge night.
Doesn't that seem like... Again, if you want to make like some really kind of social commentary on this one, it's like, doesn't that feel like the villain one these folks should have? Oh, man. It's like 90 degrees outside. We don't have the air conditioner on right now, so I'm dying from this heat. Also, to be totally honest with you guys, I'm getting over food poisoning that I got this morning.
You poor thing.
So like, my body is dying right now on its own. My body purged this morning. So, I have nothing in me right now except for rage at these films. But again, it's one of those things where I have rage because it's like, god damn, if you handed this concept over to someone who had a much better idea for a movie and could write better characters, these things could be amazing. But it's like, it's one of those movies franchises where it's like, you tried. You tried.
Yeah.
You had an idea, and it's a good idea. But couldn't you have handed that idea off to someone else? Because, like, in the third film, again, I kind of like the idea. I like a lot of the ideas in these characters.
Yeah.
But, like, the old dude who runs the deli, oh my god, like, the old Luke Cage comics didn't write, like, stereotypical characters that bad. Like, That dude, like, every time he said sweet blue cheese, I was like, no one has ever said that. Ever in their life. Like, maybe by accident they put those words together in that order. No one would make that catchphrase. And so, like, every time he said that, I was just like, I need to see a picture of the guy who wrote these films. I need to see who wrote these things.
Like, they don't know how to write black people.
No! Not at all. Oh, God. And there's lots of villains in the third film, but the girl who tries to rob the candy bar from the convenience store, which, by the way, they start this thing off by saying, like, oh, crime almost doesn't exist anymore. And then it starts off with someone committing a crime in this story. And, like, I kind of want the fourth film. We haven't seen the fourth film yet. We're going to see it and review it this weekend as soon as I can, like, stand up straight. We're going to go and see it. I am really hoping that, I mean, basically it's the story of the First Purge. And it's basically like a bunch of people going, like a bunch of poor people going, oh, I don't know if this is actually going to work. And then all of a sudden people start targeting them from the government. And basically the idea behind it is, no, this was like a big ploy by the government the entire time to basically just have an excuse to go and kill poor people. I'm also really hoping that in the fourth film, they come in here and say, the statistics show crime doesn't actually drop at all from this. Shh. We need people to believe it does. And I'm hoping that they come in here and just say that this whole, like, the story of, oh, crime drops because of the purge is all a huge lie. And it's all a giant government cover-up so that they can continue to do the purge and get people to support this thing that clearly does not work by just lying and lying and lying. I mean, hell, if at some point there's a press conference where they go, news reports show that crime was still active very much the next day. If someone just says, that's fake news, next, we're not talking anymore. If they do that, I will stand up and applaud in that theater. I don't think they will, though. I don't know. Have you seen the poster for the fourth one? That might do it. So yeah, by the way, if anybody has watched my channel for this long, and you don't know I'm like a big liberal hippie, you haven't been paying attention. I know there's somebody who's like, I feel betrayed by watching this review. It's like, then you haven't been watching our fucking reviews. Okay, man, I need to purge. Man, after the couple of weeks that we've had in the media, man, I need to get some stuff on my chest with this one. Oh, this was a big old purge on me. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, dude, that's what these movies are about. What do you want me to say coming into this thing? Did you want me to go, oh, these are great horror films about what it would be like if you were being hunted by everyone in the city? It's like, that's not what these movies are about, man. I'm sorry if you didn't get that. Oh, Twitter's gonna be fun for the next couple days. Anywho, I'm running out of steam, and I don't know what else there is to talk about in this one.
No, not really.
We didn't, actually, I totally skipped over it. We started talking about one of the villains, the one who's still in the candy bar, and then I got off on a whole other tangent. She is so awful.
Yeah.
She is. You literally laughed at one point when, it wasn't when she got hit by the car. No, it was when she got shot in the ear.
Yeah.
You burst out laughing at that scene because she's so unlikable. And I've always mentioned this in horror films. One of my big problems with horror films is where they come in here and they try and make the protagonist, the kids in the film, really unlikable assholes, except for one who is likable, and you know they're gonna survive until the end, and they do that so that way you don't feel bad when they all die. It's like, that's the point of these films. You're supposed to feel bad. You're supposed to feel afraid that something will happen to them. I feel like the Purge movies are the only ones trying to go the opposite route, in which they try and make the villains so unlikable and such pieces of crap that way you applaud when bad things happen to them. I feel like that's what they're going for. And if that is what they're going for, it totally worked. Because again, you laughed hysterically when she got shot in the ear. But yeah, she is just, man, it's one of those things where I want to kind of point at like the characters like that and go, nobody would act like that. But there's a moment early on in the third film where someone says, the Purge is Halloween for adults. And then you see how they were coming out of the car, how the car was dressed up, how they were like acting after they got in the car. And I was just like, that is kind of what it's like going to the village Halloween party every single year. That is, yeah. But again, there's a big problem with that, which is like the Purge is Halloween for adults, and it's like Halloween is Halloween for adults. Halloween stopped being for kids a long time ago. I think it was my generation even who was like, we can't let go of Halloween. We will hold on to this. Not saying that Halloween isn't for kids as well, but it's like, man, there has been a huge shift over the past like decade.
Yeah, so Halloween's for everybody now.
Absolutely.
Purge Night is for assholes.
Yeah. Purge Night is for sociopaths who want to convince themselves that, no, everybody is like this. Everybody's doing this tonight. It's like, no, motherfucker. It's like maybe 5% of society is doing this, and they're wrecking things for everyone else. Mm-hmm. Wow, amazing social commentary again. Oh god, yeah, there is one other thing that I wanted to point out about the second film, thinking about that one. This wasn't it, but this is another thought I had. There was that moment in the second film in which you see some lady on the top of a roof and she's got like a bazooka and she's talking about how it's like, oh, I'm the baddest that there ever was. And it's like, Jesus, where did you get a fucking rocket launcher from? And they're all having to move towards this building. They're having to move towards this building in the center of the city. They have to keep getting closer and closer to it. And you see all these crazy people in insane outfits, just one of them being killed off after the other. And all of a sudden it hit me. This is PUBG the movie. It's not goofy enough to be Fortnite.
No.
But this is totally PUBG. And I said that on Twitter and someone pointed out to me, apparently Screen Junkies already made that joke. So I'm not ripping off Screen Junkies. I'm just coming in here and saying, like, the fact that two people now on the internet have now made that comparison is like, Jesus Christ, this is PUBG the movie. It's so weird. But yeah, I can't remember what it was going to be. The other thing I was going to say. It's weird doing 3 of these movies at once.
Yeah.
But they all kind of do follow a trend. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of able to do it. Anything else you want to point out about these? Before I pass out.
I thought I had something to say, but now I don't really remember.
Yeah, it's hard to remember. It's hard to remember 3 movies at once. I asked you guys on Twitter if you wanted me to do 1 movie at a time or all 3 at once, and all 3 at once, 1 out. So that's what we're doing, but... Yeah, man, it's kind of tough. Maybe we should have done 1 at a time. But I don't know. I think also when you see the pattern in all of them, it allows you to talk about each of them in a more interesting way. But yeah, so again, sorry if I offended anyone in this thing, but I mean, again, if you're offended by what I said, but not at the Purge movies itself, I don't know what to tell you, man. So yeah, I will say, just to wrap up. The first movie, I hate that. That's a bad movie.
It was a dumb,
Second film
stupid movie.
is kind of an interesting thriller.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. I don't think it's great, but I think it's okay. The third film, I think it's got way better characters. I think it's got way better message to it. It's still not a great film, but it's an alright film. I'm okay with the third one. So this is like a franchise that has gotten better with each installment.
Which is funny because a lot of franchises get worse.
Oh, especially, again, I don't really consider these horror films. I think the first one was a horror film. After that, I think they were trying to be thrillers. Which, those two are neighbors to each other. So if you want to come in here and argue, well, what's the difference? You can argue they're the same thing. But to me, they're slightly different. So to me, the last 2 are thrillers. The first one's a horror. But most horror films get significantly worse as the films go on. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about this last year when we were doing Thorgy Ween. Really, the only horror movie franchise out there that I think still has some ups and downs as the franchise goes along is Hellraiser. All the other ones, there's a very clear nope, worse. Friday the 13th Part 6 got better, then worse. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, man, it's so bizarre that there is one horror movie franchise out there that got better with each installment.
Although who knows with the 4th one.
Yeah, so as soon as I'm feeling better, because I'm getting real dizzy right here. So we're going to wrap up. I'm going to come in here. If anybody got mad at what I say, I'm just going to claim it was low blood sugar. Yes, as soon as I feel better, we're going to go and see that. We're going to see Ant-Man and Wasp, and we're going to see Sorry for Bothering You. So we have 3 movies to watch this weekend. I might have to cram them all into one day on Sunday when I'm finally all better. But then again, I had more energy for this than I thought. That's what these films can do to you. They rouse something up inside me. I need to go and purge. Throw up. So, yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Again, this is going to be a regular thing that we do, not weekly. Post-Geekout reaction every single week. But the Post-Geekout retrospective is going to be just something that we do when a film is coming out and there is another film directly related to it or very clearly inspiring it or something.
I don't know, do you maybe do requests for old
I don't know, maybe we might do some requests. People keep telling me I need to open up a Patreon, which after this video that probably won't happen. I think I just lost all my supporters on this one. But yeah, people keep asking for a Patreon, and I'm like, well, the problem I have problems with setting up a Patreon. One is that I feel guilty with the idea of people giving me money nonstop. Like, if people wanted to, like, I don't know, like, donate a one-time thing, that I'd be fine with, because then you're saying, hey, I like this thing you did, here's direct compensation for that. But with Patreon, it's like, I am going to assume I'm going to continue to like what you do. And it's like, I can't promise I'll always be likable. I'm a douchebag sometimes. It happens to me. But the other problem is I'm like, well, what kind of rewards would I do for Patreon? I don't know what I do, but I did think maybe I would do request post Geekout reactions, because those would be real easy, simple to come in here, do that, no problem. So maybe we'll start doing requests. But yeah, so just to give you guys an example, Creed 2, the trailer for that came out. Rocky is my favorite film franchise of all time, but I still have not seen the first Creed. So yeah, we will watch Creed when Creed 2 comes out, do a post-Geekout retrospective for that. I don't know what else is coming out this year, but we will do post-Geekout retrospective. I can't talk anymore. I'm done. I'm out, everybody. Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.